Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Publicity. Feels good to be back. I know it's only been a week, but it feels like a lifetime. Hey, Mackenzie, what's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
Good. I had a crazy weekend.
Oh. I saw you were hanging out with all the TikTokers.
I was, and I want to catch you guys up on that. Let me set the stage. So I'm going to catch you up on my crazy weekend, talk a little bit about dating. Then we will jump into an interview with Mackenzie Dipman from Love Island US Season 2. You guys know I stan Love Island. Like, I'm obsessed. So it was amazing talking with her. I tried to get the tea on like Carl Radke. Why can't I say Carl? I say Carl.
Carl. Yeah, I feel like it's a weird.
I get the tea on Carl, and Connor, and we get into it. And then we're going to do the Ask Alyssa segment where I do my best to give you guys some advice with Mackenzie's help. And then we'll spill the tea as always. There's so much to talk about, from my crazy weekend to Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck to Megan Fox fighting with Lala and Randall. There's so much. So stay tuned for the entire episode because I feel like it's going to be a juicy one. Okay, so I got a DM last week from a casting producer.
Really?
Which, like, happens.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, like, we're casting for a dating show. It's unlike any other. Are you interested?
Oh, my God.
So.
With no other details?
No other details. This is the thing. Never say never. So you always have to just, like, look into things.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like,
can't hurt.
I don't know, like, maybe. Like, I don't really want to go on a dating show, but, like, maybe. And so then I clicked the link in her profile because it's, like, now casting. And the casting listing comes up, and it's, like, Renaissance dating show.
No.
Prove that chivalry is not dead.
Stop it.
Our singles will be competing through archery contests, horseback riding.
Oh, my God.
It's a full-blown Renaissance dating competition show. And I emailed her back. I DM'd her back and I go, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I read the description and I'm kindly going to need to, like, bow out
decline,
before.
Yeah.
I was like, you think I'm going to shoot a bow and arrow?
Right, yeah.
Dressed like a Renaissance.
Gosh. That's so funny. That would be, like, funny for the story, but yeah.
I think it's, like, Bridgerton themed.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think since that, like, popped off,
Yeah.
they were like, ooh, Bridgerton.
Everyone loves this. We should do that.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm sorry. I don't need to know if a man could start, like, a fire in the woods for me.
Like, that's not practical anymore. I feel like they just need new ideas for reality dating
exactly.
Because everything already exists.
It's like, can you hang my TV for me? Could you mount it? Because I don't really need you in the woods, like, starting a fire with a stick.
Yeah. It's not modern anymore. We don't need that.
Yeah, like, I don't need to go back in time. I need a modern man.
Yeah, we don't need, like, chivalry like that.
No, it's like, hold the door for me and I'll be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, so I went out Thursday at Barstool. Like, we all kind of work from home Fridays because we have summer Fridays anyway. So I went out Thursday with the intention of working from home Friday, and it was a good thing I did, guys, because your girl drank her body weight in tequila.
Amazing.
So I met my friend Lewis and Katie for dinner, and my friend Rod and his friend Jacqueline were coming to meet us. But Rod, who was on the podcast, guys, his like, for whatever reason, his Google Calendar, since he's from Chicago, the time difference didn't
like
transfer.
Yeah.
So he was just late everywhere all week.
Wait,
he's like, I'm getting so confused.
Like, he didn't like put two and two together.
It just, like, everything synced wrong.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
so Rod's an hour late for dinner. We're like, is this motherfucker standing us up? Like,
right.
We were insulted.
Yeah.
And then he rolls in. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I thought it was 6. It's actually 7.
Yeah, exactly. And because of COVID, like, they kick you out of a restaurant after, like, an hour
anyway.
You
can only get the table for a certain amount of time.
So Lewis and Kate had, like, shots and drinks before they even got there.
Yeah.
I tried to play catch up. So I had 2, like, tall boy tequilas. And then we wound up going to a second dinner place because they kicked us out.
Right.
So then it was, like, the 5 of us. Then the manager was sending over shots. So we took more shots there. Then we walked across the street and went to Blue Haven. And Rod was like, oh, do you care if, like, my friends, Pilot Pete and Dustin come?
Oh, my God. Unreal.
So I was like, yes, I want to meet them because I want to get them on the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
You guys, I did the Lord's work. 2 weeks. So then they come, and then we go to Red Lion, and then I kept drinking there. And then finally, I think it was like 1:30. I look at Rod, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
He was like, no, yeah, same. Like, I'm like, me too.
Yeah.
And we all like, and then Lewis was like, same.
Okay, wait, actually.
Like, we all were like, it's time.
That's
like,
so
you know,
funny.
when you just hit your limit.
Yeah, yeah. I went out Thursday and just like stayed out at the bar, and then we ended up going like one of my friends lives close to the bar we were at, so we just went there, and then all of a sudden I'm like looking at the time, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I have to go home. Yeah.
So I text Mackenzie on Friday. I'm like, I'm hungover. She's like, same. So then Friday they're like, okay, we're gonna go back out to dinner, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm hungover. I was hungover until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I had a raging migraine. I made it to dinner, just had like a glass of wine. And then Saturday, I woke up and I had personal training and I walked 16,000 steps.
Oh my gosh.
Which that's a lot of steps.
Yeah, that is.
So picture being like on a bender of a weekend and then doing an hour of personal training, then walking 16,000 steps. I was like, dead to the world. Like my body was limp.
So sore, yeah.
I was like, I'm unwell.
Yeah.
So I just went to my friends. We got sushi at like 5:30, like early bird special. I told my friends, I'm like, I love hanging out with you guys because it's like hanging out with people from the retirement home.
Yeah.
They are those people that wake up at 5 a.m. to work out every day.
Yeah.
So they're in bed by like 10 and they eat dinner at 5.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, they are the perfect Saturday night friends.
When you need to like have a relaxing weekend, it's always good to have those friends.
Yeah, you call the grannies.
Yeah, because you know they're going to like keep it chill and they can hang.
Oh, by 8 p.m. I was like, do you guys care if I leave? They're like, no, we're going to bed.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, we're already in our pajamas. Like, yeah, leave, please.
I was like, this is perfect. And then Sunday, I went to New Jersey. Like, it was just like, I felt like I had a 4-day weekend because I went out on Thursday.
Yeah, I know. I haven't gone out on a Thursday in so long because that was the thing in college. You would all
yes,
that was like one of the biggest nights to go out. But now I feel like I haven't done it in a while. So
in college, we used to oh my god, there was like Tuesdays we would go out because the hockey team would go out on Tuesdays because
they couldn't go out like before games and stuff.
So we would go to this like club in Bridgeport, Connecticut called G Star, and by club I mean it was a local dive, and we would go to G Star and they had karaoke and like we would just go out with the hockey players.
Yeah.
Like you had like the days of the week with the different teams.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, I miss those days.
Yeah, my college had like trivia on Tuesdays. So we would go doing trivia on Tuesday, and then it would be like Thursday would be some sort of like themed night at like the one bar everyone went to.
Yeah, like the one bar in town.
Yeah.
So all of that happened. Last week I was feeling a little down in the dumps about dating because I just like opened apps and was scrolling and I was like, I literally hate every single person. And then the one out of like 300 people, I would like one person, and then that one person wouldn't like me back or whatever. And I was just like, how am I ever going to meet someone? I never get sad about dating because I'm very much like, I'm going to meet my person, like it's going to come, whatever. Mm-hmm. I cried. Like I was just really upset. Yeah. And I got a DM from like a stoolie, like a Barstool fan,
right?
Being like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, you're really beautiful.
Aww.
And so I don't answer guys in my DMs. Like, I really don't. Because, like, I don't know. I just find it kind of, like, I don't trust their intentions. Mm-hmm. But I was in such a dark place that I was like, I'm just going to tell him thank you because I appreciate it. So I replied, and I was like, I just want to say thank you. Like, I needed to hear that. Yeah. And then whatever. We get to talking, and he's like, I'm going to be in New York next week. I'd love to take you out.
Oh, my God.
So now I've been texting a guy from Alabama for a week.
From Alabama?
Alabama man.
Oh, my God.
He's coming this week, and I think I'm going out with him.
Wait, that's amazing. Yeah, who cares? You should. Why not?
My therapist has to be open.
Yeah. Especially he lives in Alabama, so the worst that could happen is that you don't have fun or it's not, you don't like him.
And he honestly seems like cool. So
yeah. What am I going to say?
Can't do wrong.
I was going to say can't do no wrong, but that just sounds weird. Can't hurt. Like, what's nothing but
I mean, like me and someone from Alabama, though.
Yeah, that would be a little bit.
They say opposites attract.
That's true. That is true.
I'm honestly like just trying to be open to whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever.
I just want a nice person.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
So I had to tell you guys that because I was dying and like I probably have a date this week with someone from Alabama.
Or you could go on the chivalry show.
Or I could go on the Renaissance show.
Renaissance.
No, but then I also started just answering more DMs over the weekend and I was like, I need to reel this in because like this is getting out of hand. It's not that I like flirt with people. It's more I just was being like, oh, thank you.
Right, like appreciative.
Yeah, because like, I don't know. I think it's nice when people like shoot their shot or whatever. But yeah. Oh, tripod's back in the picture. So if you guys don't remember, I had Rudy on for an episode once and we were talking about tripod. He's a guy that like I hooked up with like at this point 7 years ago. Like it's been forever. After a night of Brother Jimmy's. And
Classic.
We're friends. Like we have mutual friends. I've seen him multiple times. He's cool. But like he has no follow through. And like I'm just going to read you our conversation because like this is what I can't. I will never go out with him or say yes to dating him unless he actually makes a concrete plan. Yeah. So this is our last, like, He replied to a story of me. Keep in mind, me in like sweatpants looking like a hot mess with flames. I didn't answer. I just tapped, like, liked it. Then he DMs me the next day. Let's rekindle the Brother Jimmy's flames soon.
Oh my God.
So I just wrote back, D. Then he answers the next day, same. I don't answer. Yesterday, dinner soon.
He said that?
Yeah. And then, but this is the thing. He'll say dinner soon.
And then he
never
won't make
make
plans.
he'll never say Tuesday night, 7 p.m. So I said, I love how you have my number, but you're DMing me. He said, you look at this more. You're an influencer, whatever. So then whatever. Then he said, are you seeing anyone? Blah, blah, blah. Then he goes, let's get drinks soon. I'm only kidding about hooking up.
What?
Kinda.
Oh my God.
And I said, every time. Yeah. Because he goes, haha, every time what? And I said, you go there. Yeah. And then he's like, haha, it's so predictable. Going on 10 years of that. And then I just didn't answer. It's like, he'll ask me to dinner and then he'll say some jackass thing.
Right. Yeah,
and then like, 3 days later we'll go by and then he'll be like, hey, want to go out? And I'm like,
you're like, no.
Be a man.
I know. I think I saw something on Nick Vile's TikTok that he was like, something to the point of like, if he's not making plans, he doesn't really like care that much, because if he would care, he would make the plans and he would be excited about it. That was the thing.
1,000,000%. I don't doubt he wants to hang out with me. It's literally been 10 years of persistence.
Right.
That said, not enough.
Right, exactly. Like, just make a plan.
I also just I'm like too much of a self-respecting person. Like, I've just way too much self-respect that I answer him because I know him. I think he's funny. Like, if this was a guy I didn't know, I'd be like, this guy's a dick. But, like, I know he's a good person.
Yeah, and it's, like all in good fun.
Yeah, like, I know he's, like, kind of busting my balls. Like, I know him. So I get that he's, like, hitting on me and he thinks he's being flirty. So that's why I respond.
Yeah.
That said, it's, like, it's not attractive to not have follow through.
Yes, exactly. No. Especially because if you say you actually did really like him, then you could like step ahead and like make the plans.
I 100%
but you're kind of just like in the middle where it's like, if he makes the plan, you'll go, but you're not going to go out of your way, especially if he's like being a dick about it.
That's exactly it. If I was like, do you want to come over tonight and grab a drink near my, he'd be like, yeah, I'm on my way.
Right, exactly.
But I'm not going to do it because you're contacting me. You need to take the initiative. It's like, know your worth, girls, because like people like this, like that's why he'll never see me again, by the way.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like until you're like, and then when he got on this whole thing a few months ago, like, okay, like you deserve to go somewhere nice. Like we're gonna go to like Lure Fish Bar or like Catch or like Cipriani. Like, you know, then he's like, I'm big timing me. Like we're gonna go. You deserve the world. Still nothing.
It's all talk though.
It's all fucking
talk.
So
when will they learn?
So tripod's back. Oh, another weird thing that happened before we hop into the interview. You guys know me. Like, I host the podcast. I do TikTok. I do Instagram. I see the T Tribe out and about. This weekend, I'm out, and some girl's like, oh, I know you from TikTok. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, oh, my gosh, do you listen to the podcast? Like, what video? She goes, the bunk bed video.
Oh, my God.
You guys, I had a video from that hotel in Nantucket that I was telling you guys about, the one with the adult size like bunk beds. It reached 4 million people.
That's
I'm not even in
insane.
the video.
Right. It's just the beds.
I'm like, I work my ass off.
Yeah.
And these bunk beds
Yeah.
reach 4 million people.
It's like we record every Monday for like 2 hours, but the freaking bunk beds.
It's like I sit in this chair every single week pouring my heart out about dating and therapy and life, and my bunk beds blow up. It's like, you gotta cut me a break.
That's so funny.
So I was just dying. I was like,
from the bunk beds. Yeah, that is funny because you're not even in the video.
I'm genuinely not in it.
But maybe that means she followed you from it. So
I'm like, that's my claim to fame, the bunk beds.
Now.
Also,
the most recent thing too.
Also, that hotel still hasn't reached out to me, and at this point, I'm like, you gonna give me a free room or what?
Yeah, I mean, 4 million views is a lot.
I think that's 4.1 now. I also think that's the most viewed video I've ever gotten.
Right? Yeah, that's like D'Amelio numbers.
Watch out, Charlie. There's a new bitch in town sitting here with Dunkin' Donuts. They're gonna name the new iced tea
after you. Yeah.
Tea with publicity.
Spill the tea.
Wait, let's manifest that.
Yeah.
That would be a vibe.
Dunkin'.
Okay, we're going to get into the interview with Mackenzie. If you guys are new here, hi, nice to meet you. Hope you subscribe, leave 5 stars, and join the Tea Tribe because we are a badass group of women. Here's the interview. We will get into your advice questions right after. Okay, guys, I am here with Mackenzie Dipman from Love Island US Season 2, which, Mackenzie, I need to tell you, I'm a huge Love Island fan. Started, obviously, with UK. Like, you know,
yes.
the good old UK Love Island, moved into US. I'm obsessed.
Have you seen Australia? Because Australia, you've got to cover that one too.
Oh, I've seen Australia.
You got to give a shout out to Australia Love Island. That's a good one too.
No, it totally is. So had you seen some of the Love Island seasons prior to going on to Love Island US?
Yes, I was definitely a very big Love Island fan. There's a lot of reality shows I haven't seen, but Love Island is actually one of the ones that I love so much. And I'd pretty much seen almost every season before I went on my show. So actually, I think I had seen every season. Yeah.
I would have been the same way because it's just like something about it is just the best reality TV show. I think because like The Bachelor, it's like one girl dating 30 men or vice versa. Whereas Love Island, there's like equal opportunity for people to make connections. Because there's
plus the narration is always so funny. Like that adds like such an element of humor to it, and the challenges. Like I'm a very physical, like goofy person, and like I love to do stuff that is kind of like that and isn't just like the serious dates all the time. So I love that aspect to it. I definitely couldn't see myself on The Bachelor, but Love Island, obviously.
No, that's so true. Could I ask you my like Love Island logistical questions?
I'll answer them as best I can.
Yeah.
I know I can't divulge too many secrets, but I will answer them best I can.
I know. I feel like there's like a secret like magic that goes on behind the scenes that like you just can't say because you need to like keep the integrity of the show, but there's like little things that I'm so curious about because I think Love Island and like Big Brother does this where there's like actually the cameras that are kind of just like throughout the house versus like actual producers in your face with cameras. Is there ever like a producer standing there, or is it all just those cameras like that are docked?
So there's like surveillance cameras that will catch us like at certain points, but we never have cameras in our faces. You can tell like when a camera is closer to you sometimes, but there's never a camera in your face. I think I would get so awkward. Maybe on the dates. I never went on a date, so I can't say, but at least in the villa, they are a distance away from you. But you can kind of like spot them sometimes. You're like, oh, okay. But like you get so used to them, especially if you were there from day one. I feel like for us, it's so easy to get acclimated to it really quickly because you're kind of forced to, versus I think it can be kind of shocking for the people that come in gradually. They're kind of like, oh my God, wait, there's these cameras on me. Like,
yeah, you like hear it just like turning.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because I feel like that must make you so much more comfortable because you could almost like forget that, even though you know, it's easier to forget that they're there versus like someone literally standing with like a boom hanging in front of you and like a camera in your face. I think it like allows for such a more natural environment.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I would say that I was never concerned about the cameras or what people were going to see or what they weren't going to see. Like, I'm a very open book person. I like what you see is what you get with me. So I don't know that even the presence or the idea of cameras being around really bothered me. I'm like, I'm just going to do my thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. I never really talked to other people about their comfort level with it.
Yeah.
I think that they were really respectful about like our privacy as far as changing and everything like that. So I mean, it just depends. Like, I don't think it's for everybody, but I think for me, it was pretty easy. I mean, I strip down naked. I'll do whatever in front of, like, when I'm changing for modeling or whatnot. So I just have a comfort level with it, I think.
Yeah, if you're not like a bashful person, it's kind of like whatever. And you at least know, you're like, they're not going to actually show me naked because they can't. So it's like, whatever. If the person in the control room seeing me, I don't really care.
I'm like, enjoy the show.
That's how I feel when I go to airports and like people get all hung up over like the body scans. I'm like, I really don't care if this man is like seeing the outline of my body. Like, whatever.
The outline of my mouth. Oh my God, I'm laughing so hard.
Because some people are so like, I don't know, people are so shy in private, but I'm like, whatever. Okay, so that's good to know. And then you guys do have the phones on you. And like, is that basically just a way for like producers to kind of like alert you guys of dates and alert you of like new couplings? It's not like you can't really go on your phone and like use the internet, right?
Yeah, you have no access. So the dates and times aren't even correct on our phones because they want you to be like fully immersed in the process and not be focused on, like, we would sometimes ask them like, what time of day is it? Like, what time is it? And they'd be like, just focus on what you're doing, which is actually like a really interesting lesson for like living in the present. Because I'm very much like, I plan everything and I look ahead all the time. And so being on the show was like literally forced me in the most uncomfortable way possible to live in the moment. And so, yeah, like our cell phones, you can't look on the internet. There's no time. You can't text the other islanders. I thought you could text the other islanders. You can't. It's mostly just for them to reach you. And it'd be funny sometimes because you could accidentally send a text to production. I did that once or twice where I didn't mean to send something. And then they were like, hi, Mackenzie. And I'm like, oh, hi, what's up?
That is so wild. I heard someone else recently say the thing about the time, which I knew just from watching like Love Island UK and stuff. Did that? Okay, this is my like question for every reality star because I'm such a sleep diva that like I would be one of those people that if I'm like going a few nights with not a lot of sleep, I would have one of those like emotional breakdown, like sobbing, crying, you know, and you're just so overtired that you like.
I mean, don't we sob and cry a lot on the show?
That happens. Like,
yeah.
So were you like tired a lot, and especially not knowing what time it was? That would confuse the hell out of me.
I would say that sure, there were some days where like I don't think that anyone, like production included, could have predicted how long some things could have taken because sometimes things just take longer depending on the night. Overall, they did set us up to get a good amount of sleep every night. So I do give them credit. I don't want anyone to think like they deprived us of sleep because they didn't. Was I sleep deprived? Yes. Just because it was so hard for me to wind down from everything that happened. And it's hard to get comfortable. I'm the type that I watch Netflix before I go to sleep. And so not having that was really, really strange for me. So I would say that, you know, I hadn't probably cried before going on the show. I probably hadn't cried in like a couple of years or like over a boy. It had been, or like not in a very long time had I cried over a guy. And all of a sudden I'm in there and I'm much more emotional. And it's just because just emotions are heightened. It is the lack of sleep. It's the lack of your comfort. It's like the things that kind of bring you back down to earth when you're feeling a little bit anxious. So yeah, I mean, I think you are just so much more emotional. And I know that like, it's really easy to be like, why are they crying in that moment? But I just think that everyone needs to kind of treat each other with kindness because you don't really know what's happening. You don't really know what they're normally like in real life. So I think that that's kind of something that people forget. You know, we kind of like joke about our dating history in our intros, but we don't really talk about what we were like in our romantic life ahead of the show. And so I think how I was in the show versus how I was prior to the show was so incredibly different. Just because just in that environment, you never know how you're going to react. I coupled up with someone day one and it was a very serious relationship versus in real life, I'm typically dating a few guys at a time and it's non-exclusive and I'm like very detached. So it just depends, you know? And I do wish that element was incorporated more. I wish that we had more conversations about it in the villa so we all understood each other a little bit better, because I think that the reactions of people would have come across differently had we known more about each other, if that makes any kind of sense.
No, I get what you're saying, but like I remember watching your season and like siding with you a lot. I remember thinking like I don't know, I think if you're a girl, you could empathize with another girl and be like, oh, I know that feeling. I know that the way you feel when you're put in that predicament or whatever it may be. And like, I remember empathizing a lot with you. And I think you kind of saw that throughout the show. Like maybe in the beginning, people didn't understand you because I think you even said this. You're like, I'm always like typecast. Like people think I'm like a blonde with big boobs and they think I'm like one way. But like, I think you're actually like intellectual and you like getting deep. And I think like your character like arc, like people saw that kind of as the show went on. So did you feel like misrepresented a lot?
I do think that, like you said, I think people took a little bit longer to understand me. And I think that everything is about perception. I do think realizing from watching this show though, and watching other seasons and having my own experience, I realized like, I just think we're just kind of in general harder on women when it comes to reality TV. Like, I think we do tend to side with the guy. And I think depending on, it's so left up to how the woman reacts. Like if the woman has an emotional reaction, they're like, oh, she must have done something and like, let's side with the guy. But if the woman has like a strong reaction and she's not upset by it or emotional about it, then I think they tend to not get as much grief. But if you kind of show your vulnerability and your emotion, I do think people tend to jump on you. And I think that that's kind of sad. And watching this season, I actually think like a lot of what I went through is sort of kind of what Trina went through with Jeremy at the beginning, which was like Jeremy was saying one thing to Trina and then saying one thing to the guys. And his was much more obvious. Whether that be like he made it more obvious or that's just what was shown. But that's literally what I went through with Connor, was he was telling me one thing, telling everyone else something else. So it was more obvious this season. And I think Trina wasn't as deep in it yet. And I'm so proud of her for standing up for herself. Looking back, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have known, you know, like I wish I would have known the things that were being said about my relationship, not to my face. Because I think I would have handled it differently, honestly.
That's such a good comparison. And also, Connor and Jeremy are like a very similar type.
Yes.
So, like the quiet guy that's like hot, but doesn't know that he's hot, but like is reserved.
No, they know that they're hot.
I know. That's why I did quotes.
Caleb, I have to say, Caleb had one of the best lines of the season. And Casa Moore, one of the girls is talking to Caleb and they're like, I don't think Connor realizes how hot he is. And Caleb's like, no, he knows how hot he is. And as having dated him, he knows how hot he is, people. Don't worry. Okay?
That's why I did quotes. Cause I'm like, they don't know how hot, like, come on.
Yeah. And it is funny now, like watching it with Jeremy is like, I wouldn't have stepped forward for Jeremy. Like I like seeing, even though they're so similar, like I wouldn't have stepped forward for them. And I think it says so much about the group and about the way that the dynamic of the group, because it makes you kind of see everybody maybe differently than you would as like being on the outside of it.
Yeah. That makes sense. No, it's so true. And so you and Connor, well, you guys, I was going to say you ended the show together, even though like you kind of didn't on the show, but you kind of also did in the same breath. Like you ended together, you publicly dated after the show, and now you're obviously broken up. Have you talked about that breakup at all? Because I feel like it's been kind of like pretty kept under wraps.
Yeah, I think more just kind of like out of respect for Connor and, you know, him out of respect for me, because, you know, I still have a very good relationship with his family and there's no bad blood between us. I think that there's so many things in a relationship that it would be really difficult to sum up on an interview. I would say that kind of have to treat your relationships outside of the villa almost as an entirely new relationship. And you can hope that you really got to know somebody in the villa and that you have that strong foundation. But I do think that once you are back in the real world, things come to light and things become more apparent how you're similar and how you're dissimilar. And I think just in the end, I think that Connor and I are both so young. I'm about to turn 25. He just turned 24. And we are both very career oriented. And I think we had hoped that our journeys were going to merge. Mm-hmm. But I think based on what we both individually wanted so badly for ourselves, we kind of realized that that was taking us in different directions from each other. And I just think that in the future, you never know. But I think in this moment, I've given up so much of my life and myself for guys. I used to sacrifice everything for every guy I ever dated, even if they were the worst of all time mm-hmm. and they were sleeping with 10 other girls. And I just said, I'm not doing that to myself again. I have to put myself first, and the right guy will be around when it works and when it's the right person. So I wish him all the best. But.
Look at that growth though. Like that's how much you've gained from the show, because even if your relationship didn't necessarily like work out, it's still not a fail because like you said, you have no bad blood. You've learned so much. Like you're treating yourself with more respect by like knowing your worth. So I think it's like a win all around.
Oh, I agree. It completely changed my perspective on dating. Like I have dated a little bit since Connor and I have broken up. Like I've talked to some people here and there, and the way that I even just approach those situations, I am so much more like, Mackenzie, you're amazing. You're awesome. You know what you want. You deserve a guy who sees that in you. And I'm not going to settle. And I used to just settle. And I look back at the guys I dated and I'm like, why did we date? Like some of them were great. Shout out to them. I think they know who they are. But like some of them I'm just like, what was I thinking? So thank you, Love Island, for honestly, you probably kept me from ending up with the wrong person one day. So very, very thankful in that regard. Snaps to them. But
no, it is so true, because I always say, I'm like, a lot of women go into dates being like, I hope he likes me. It's like, no, I hope I like him, because I'm the prize. Yeah. It's like, I hope I like him because it's a mutual thing. It's not like if your confidence is low, you're going to be like, oh, I hope he likes me. It's like, no, what about what you think of him? Because it's a mutual thing. The guys don't just get to like pick who they want to date. Like you have to want them back.
Absolutely. And I think it really, for me, and when I'm kind of like, I don't think this is working out, it's not just, it is about me, but it's also like, I think there's someone better suited to you. Like, I think that you'll find someone who loves this about you. And I think that there's certain ways that we can grow and change as individuals. But I do think as far as being a partner to somebody, some of those qualities are kind of just ingrained in you, and maybe they will change, but most likely they will not. And so if what your thing is words of affirmation, and I don't give you words of affirmation, but I will do acts of service for you all the time, and you're not getting anything from that, then you need someone who's going to give you that affirmation, and I need someone who's going to appreciate my acts of service. You know what I mean?
100%. It's like you just might not be compatible, and that doesn't mean that you don't get along and you don't like love each other, but sometimes at the end of the day, it's like a long-term compatibility thing. And if you're not speaking the same language, like there's no point. I completely agree. So I have to ask, you are like spotted kind of with Carl Radke from Summer House, kind of like through the pipeline. I feel like I don't think it was super public. Were you here in New York? What was going on?
I was there in New York, yes. I actually met Carl several years ago when he was in Old Town, and we did stay in touch, and we are good friends. Carl is an amazing guy. We are just friends. He knows how much I love baseball, so we went to a Yankees game together, but we're just friends. I'm really proud of him with his sobriety. He's doing an amazing job. And I think it's just so cool that I think people are getting to see more of the deeper Carl, because he is a really interesting and intelligent guy. And I am excited for their next season of Summer House to come out. I can't believe season 6 already.
I know.
I am a fan of the show. I am a bit of a fan of the show. But,
I'm friendly with Carl. I haven't seen him in like so long because of COVID and everything, but I too am so proud of him. I like had to ask because I'm like, could you imagine like a Love Island Summer House crossover? Like the Southern Charm people are showing up on the show. I'm like, hey, you never know. You never know.
I do love Bravo. Sometimes I'm like, should I try out for Below Deck? Because I think that I would love that.
Wait, you would kill it on Below Deck.
I have hospitality experience. If there's any recruiters for Below Deck watching this, please hit me up. I'm definitely open.
That would actually be so good. Yeah, I love that. I love when there's crossover because I feel like the internet just like goes like ablaze with like reality TV crossover. Like you two like didn't even really post it, and everyone was like, they're together at the game.
We didn't post it at all. Like I didn't think anything. Well, I didn't realize, like, props to them. Like, I mean, in New York, the Summer House cast, they're massive. Like, they are celebrities. They walk down the street, and I'm like, I almost feel bad for them that they have to deal with that kind of media attention. I mean, I'm walking the streets of Tucson, and I don't really get stopped very often.
That's so interesting.
That's what happened.
It's almost like in New York, like, people that are on reality shows or like on TikTok or Instagram almost get stopped more than like big celebrities. Like if you see Brad Pitt walking by, you're like, I'm not going to stop him because I'm going to respect his privacy. It's like an unspoken rule. But then they see like someone from Summer House and they're like, blah! Like people, it is like a weird dynamic, but that's funny you say that. So do you have plans to stay in Arizona?
So this is going to be my home base, at least like just for the indefinite future. So my LLC, I just established my business and it's licensed here in Arizona. So I will kind of always want to have a little bit of a home base here. This is where my family is. But I will be spending much more time in LA. I will be going back and forth. And then hopefully I'm kind of like fingers crossed going to have like a Sex in the City moment this fall potentially and come to New York for a couple of months. I've always dreamed of living in New York, so maybe that will become a reality. We'll see.
We'll come by the office. I'll show you around Barstool. The guys will love you. We'll go out.
Please. That would be so fun.
Oh my God, they would like eat you alive. They'd be so happy. Yeah, that would be so fun. You have to have your little Sex in the City moment. Now that everything's open, like I feel like traveling and networking, everything is like back finally. It's like it almost kind of sucked to come off of a reality show and then go into quarantine because I feel like the people that were on reality shows during that time almost didn't get to like capitalize on like opportunities as much as they would have if the world was open. It was like a weird time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially because I wasn't in a major city. You know, most people were they were in LA or they were near New York or they were near Miami. And because I was in Arizona or I was in Pittsburgh for a lot of the time. But, you know, there's like the grass is greener on the other side. I think it would have been great, but I am so appreciative of, you know, my fans, or I like to call them basically my friends that I have made through this whole process, and they have been so supportive. And, you know, I think I'm kind of just getting started. My future, I think, Love Island was a part in it, was a chapter of it, but I am excited to kind of establish myself on my own a bit, you know, separate from Love Island. And I think that maybe had I come out and done all those appearances with Love Island, like who knows, maybe that would have, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I want people like, you know, Mackenzie for Mackenzie, not Mackenzie as Mackenzie and Connor on Love Island.
100%. You would have been like so in that mold where it's like you have more going on for you outside of just like appearing on a show. And I think there's so many, like you said, you're young. Like there's so many things that you could do. Before I have you go, I want to just get your thoughts on this season of Love Island. Who are you rooting for? Who would you couple up with? Like I just need some tea because I'm watching. Okay. I'm not like
I want to know who you think I would couple up with. I like who would out of these guys, who do you think I would couple up with?
I don't like, it's so weird because it's not like there's anyone in there that I'm like, wow, like that's the guy I would go for. I think just like off of looks, like who I'd step forward for. And like the old me would probably step forward for the curly haired, blue eyed guy, Josh.
Yeah.
And then probably Jeremy. Like those are obviously like that's so typical though. But I think once I like talked to them, I don't know. So for you, I think you need someone like intellectual, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy with like, who's the girl from Alaska coupled up with? What's his name?
Giovanni. I love him.
I think
the girls are sleeping on him.
Yes, I think his personality.
Is the gem, the personality, the fashion sense. Like, I don't know. I think that I always get awkward with guys that are that outgoing and that like self-assured. However, like, I think he and Selly would make the most absolutely perfect couple of all time. Their energy levels, like, I'm trying to set this up.
You're so right.
Find love on the show, their fashion, their energy, their just like way to command a room, their sense of humor. Like, I've already told Selly it's happening. I'm making it happen if he doesn't find love on the show. I honestly, out of this group of guys, I don't know. It's tough because you're only seeing such a small part of them so far.
True. Yeah.
I am excited for, more guys to get more screen time so you can get to know them a bit better. Corey seems really sweet. I don't know if he's necessarily my type. I don't know if any of these guys are necessarily my type.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
I thought I liked Will, but I don't know as much anymore. I don't know. Like they're all so cute in their own way.
I think as women, like we all like Will. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, do we just like him because he's like has an accent and he's attractive?
Yes,
like we don't really know much about him.
I think we do because I don't think we know anything about him.
That's how I feel.
And that's my apprehension is I haven't learned anything other than he's a good kisser and that he's hot, but I haven't learn much more. And I agree, I need someone a little more intellectual. I love sports, so I might have been drawn to Josh since he or Cinco since they played sports pretty competitively. But
I thought Cinco was like the best guy, but now I'm getting shady vibes from him too.
Don't get shady vibes from him. I feel like he was pretty straight up when he said, like, when he went with Cachet that he was interested in Trina, but that she had something with Jeremy at the time.
Fair.
So I don't think that Cinco should get the rap or Trina should get a bad rap. I think that they need to be respectful to Cachet if they were to move forward. And I think Cachet is stunning. Her body, her face, everything about her is just unbelievable. But I do think that it was clear there's something between them. And out of respect for Jeremy, he stayed away. And having been in a couple from day one, you were kind of maybe tempted occasionally, but you wanted to stick to your relationship. And so I think that if there is something between them, he would just be hurting Cachet in the long run if he stayed with her because it was comfortable, if he really likes Trina.
No, that's so true. And I'm not convinced that any of the relationships at this very moment are like super, super solid. I think a lot of them.
They're not very deep.
No, they still need to meet their people. Like, I knew from the moment that, like, Jeremy and Trina kissed, I'm like, there's not a vibe. Like, there's no chemistry between them. Like, I feel like I even saw it before they saw it. I was like, no. Like, it's just, I like them separately, but it's just not a vibe. So I feel like everyone's, like, individually great, but we need to wait for, like, some of those power couples to happen.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely going to be a lot more switching up before the show is over. And I think that it'll be interesting to see. It does seem like this is a very strong group of women and that they're very much like, I know what I deserve. So I'll be really interested to see, like, how they call these guys out when they do things that they're okay with. And also how the other girls react to that. Because I think that's really interesting of, like, if you were mistreated by a guy and then your friend is to pursue him, it'll be interesting to see if a guy messes up, maybe that's his time. Maybe they're like, none of us want you now. Like I'm because I kind of have this weird feeling that could happen with this group, because I will say they seem very, very close-knit group of friends, which I love that. I wish that we were all closer as a cast, all of us, because I know we had our own little cliques. But they seem so close and so fun. And I think that there's so many of them who I hope that we get to learn more about them and see them more, because they all just seem like really nice people, honestly. Like, I can't wait to meet them when they all come out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You're right about that. They are like really strong, independent women. And I like to see that on a show. I'm like, these girls are not pushovers. Like, they really are like sticking to their guns. They know what they want. It's going to be a great season. I am so happy that we connected. Stay in touch. When you come to New York, we'll go out. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Where could everyone follow you and keep up with you?
Follow me on Instagram at Mackenzie Dipman, and then my podcast will hopefully be coming up this fall. So that link is in the bio of my Instagram as well, Out of His League.
Amazing.
And
I love it. Thank you, Mackenzie. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, guys, ask Alyssa how to say no to a guy asking you out. I'm extremely flattered that I've had guys asking me out the old-fashioned way, in person and through the DMs, but since I've started at my job at a new gym in September 2020, I've had 3 guys ask me out while I'm working out at the gym. I'm flattered, but I'm not interested in these guys at all and barely know them. I get all awkward and thrown off and say, oh yeah, in the moment, and later have to tell them I'm not interested. What's a polite and professional way to say no in the moment? Say you have a boyfriend.
Oh, true. That is a good point. I never would have even thought about that.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm dating someone.
Yeah, I'm seeing someone right now. Like, that's it. To go up to a girl at the gym is wild to me.
Wild.
I
also,
mean, like,
you know he likes that booty.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it has to be the perfect situation where maybe like she's getting water or not working out or off to the side. But I mean, that is some bold moves to do that at the gym.
Yeah, like I'm sweaty. I don't want to talk.
Right, exactly. And like you're focused.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that is weird.
Easiest thing, say you're seeing someone.
Yeah, you're never going to see that person.
It's polite. They can't fact check it. It's just, it cuts it right there. Don't say yes, go through the awkward fumble of their number and then ghost them and then have to see them again.
Yeah, then that's just like too much effort. But also, even if you just want to say no, like, do whatever you want because it's your opinion. Like, not that you'd have to be rude, but you don't have to like be nice to random people that come up to you. Yeah, just like,
oh, I'm not really looking to like date at this time.
Yeah, definitely.
Ugh. I hate when you're put on the spot. That's what I did with that guy in the street. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm seeing someone.
Right, exactly, yeah. But I do understand what she's saying because I'm the type of person that would just say yes because like it'd be easier to say yes in the moment and I would feel mean saying no.
100% because I think no one wants to reject someone.
No, yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I think just lie. Little white lie didn't hurt anyone.
Never hurt anyone. Okay, next one. Ask Alyssa. I started seeing someone. We're in the early phases, and we go Dutch on all dinners and drinks. I like him, but I feel like this is leaving a bad taste in my mouth. How do I shift the mindset to not think about that aspect? Or is it something I should be worried about? I know that taking someone out to dinner is definitely expensive, and I'm not immune to that. I just can't help but feel like I'm going to dinner with a girlfriend. I think when it's in the early stages, like, and this is where maybe I'd be good for Renaissance dating. I think it is polite for the guy to pay. And that's based solely on like old traditional standards.
Yeah.
And I realize we're like modern women and we don't need no man. But I personally like, if a guy's asking me out, I like him to take the initiative. And of course I'm going to offer.
Yeah. Oh, right. Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it does kind of take away some of that courting stage.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with that. Like, not like they have to, but yeah, I feel like at the beginning it's more common for the guy to pay. Yeah, especially if he's like asking you out to dinner. That makes sense that he would pay. But I feel like, yeah, early stages. And then once you're in a relationship, obviously, like, you get more comfortable with each other. And
that's
like,
how
okay,
I feel.
Like, back and forth or split it or whatever. But yeah, I do agree in that, like, it is kind of an old school type thing, but it is kind of like a way for the guy to show how, like, that he's interested.
I guess, like, it's hard because, like, if I'm on a date with a guy and I know I make more money than him or just assume I do, it's kind of like, why wouldn't we? I don't know. It is old school to think that the guy just has to pay. I think that's why when you're dating someone, then you figure out the logistics of it all. But I think the first few times, like, it's nice to feel treated and courted and wanted and like someone's like trying to take care of you or make something special for you.
Right, exactly. I think it was on on Call Her Daddy, Paige DeSorbo from Summer House. They were talking about it, and she was like, my makeup probably costs more than the dinner, so like you can pay for this pasta. Like she made a joke about it, but like
it's so
you're
true.
the one, you're getting ready and like putting in all this effort. Not that the guy doesn't, but
no, you're so right. It's like
takes a little more for
I got a
women.
wax, I got laser, I got makeup. Yeah, I paid. That was like I didn't even tell this story on the podcast. We'll save it for a different day. A time when I Ubered $50 in the rain for a date.
Oh, yep. It was in the vlog.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll tell that another time. It's still too soon. But yeah, so I don't know how you go about like mentioning that, if I'm being honest. I think I'd feel so awkward.
Or maybe even like you take the initiative. Like, I mean, I have a boyfriend, but it's so funny because he'll always joke, like he'll ask me to dinner and then he'll pay for it. But like, I'm always like, no, like we can split it or whatever. And he's like, well, maybe ask me to dinner once and then you can pay for it, like as a joke. So like maybe like she could ask him and then be like, oh no, I asked you, like I'll pay for this one. And then put like kind of like that thought in his mind. Like, oh, okay, maybe like, oh, maybe I'll ask her and like I can pay or whatever.
That's cute. I like that example.
Yeah.
Or it's like, how about like you get this one, I'll get the next one.
Yeah, something like that. Like even just like splitting it like that.
I'm also curious, when you guys write in, send me your ages.
Oh yeah, that's
like
true.
I need to know the dynamic. That is it, yeah. Because I think it's different. Like my high school boyfriend spoiled me, but like it wasn't his money, it was his parents.
True, yeah.
Like he paid for everything.
Yeah.
Bought me a Burberry bag. Like I was David Yurman. Like I was
incredible.
Living.
Right.
He also knew I had expensive taste, but I think I didn't even like offer that much at that point because it was just all the time. And like it was just his parents' money.
Right,
So we were like, whatever.
Who cares?
But that being said, like now as an adult or in college, like I didn't date that way.
Right.
It depends on the person's like financial situation and your financial situation.
Yeah, for sure.
One last thing and then I'll move on. I think it's really, really weird and rude if a guy invites you out to a place. If he's like, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? And you're like, yeah. And then he picks like Tao Downtown, which like notoriously has $25 drinks and $40 entrees. And then they're like, okay, let's split it.
Right.
Or they drink more than you and then want to split it. It's like you picked a place that is top tier in terms of pricing and now you want to drink more than me and split it. Like that to me is a red flag.
Oh yeah,
if
definitely.
I'm ever picking like even if a guy says to me, where do you want to meet? And I'm like, okay, he might pay. He might offer to pay and not let me. I'm not going to go pick the most expensive place in the world.
Yeah. And that's even like goes for like friends too. Like your friend wouldn't do that. Like you wouldn't pick a place to go with your friend and then drink more than them and then
I think
like
that's a whole different like thing because I don't really drink that much at dinners and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but my sister doesn't. And I think there's also an interesting dynamic with friends, like friends that have 5 drinks and you have 1 and then they want to split the bill equally.
Yeah.
It's like, it's rude.
Yeah, like why would you?
It's like be a little self-aware.
Yeah, exactly. And like pay for what you were eating and drinking.
Sometimes I honestly like really don't mind if it's like if they had 2 and I had 1, like whatever.
Yeah, it's like one side they got that was different. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh my God, it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when it's like someone's like having 5 to your 1.
Yeah,
that it's like, all right. Especially in New York City because we're not having $5 drinks. They're $20 a pop.
Yeah, true.
Okay, next question. Hi, Alyssa. Love you and the podcast. I look forward to hearing new episodes each week. Reaching out here for some friendship advice. I'll keep it short because this story has many factors and could go on to pages long. My best friend since high school and I had a huge falling out last year. I don't get along with her boyfriend and believe that he has changed her entire personality / demeanor since he came into her life. He's a misogynistic a-hole and has told me that he can't wait to take her away from friends and family and start their own life together alone. I've talked to her multiple times alone and with my mutual best friend of ours on how his actions towards me are rude, disrespectful, and just outright not someone I want to spend my time around. She always has excuse after excuse for him and how I need to get to know him more. My friends and I haven't talked in over a year, and recently I've heard that the boyfriend wants to be my friend. And this is sad because my friends and I don't... Oh, I guess the boyfriend's sad that her and her friend don't see eye to eye or talk anymore. Do I even bother reaching out? I feel like if she really wanted to be friends again, she would do so. What do you think I should do with this information? I actually have like life experience with this kind of situation that I think might be able to help you. So first of all, it sounds like your friend's in a potentially abusive relationship. And when someone is in an abusive relationship, you could try your hardest to pull them out of it. It's not until they want to get out of it or seek help that they're like really ready to get out of it, from my experience. So I think oftentimes when we see friends hurting, we turn our backs on them because we're like, I can't believe you're doing this to yourself. I can't believe you're putting up with this person. I had this experience with someone like very early in life, like high school. Like a friend was with a guy that I didn't like, so I stopped being friends with both of them. Now, through life experience, I've learned that is not the answer. Your friend actually needs you more because they need a safe space for when shit hits the fan, which it inevitably will hit the fan, and they need to feel like you're not judging them, because if they feel like you're judging them, then when all hell breaks loose, they've no one to turn to because they're completely isolated. And I think you need to be in her life and know you don't like him, but also realize you're not going to change her mind about him until she sees the light for herself. So it's almost like you need to take your feelings out of the equation, which sounds so crazy because friendships are two-sided. But it's like you almost have to be selfless in order to like be a good friend, because people that are in these situations, like they don't see clearly.
Right.
Did I explain that well?
No, yeah, I think so. I think that's a really good point. Like, I mean, I've never had really like personal experience with this, but you always hear like, it's almost like they're brainwashed to that's the only thing they know. So whatever you're telling them is just in one ear out the other, because they're so in love with the person, or they don't
manipulated.
They don't see anything wrong. So it's hard to kind of step in, because then it just creates the tension between you and your friend, which you obviously don't want. If you want to stay friends with her, it's hard to like be on the bad side. But there's really nothing else you can do except for like wait for her to realize that this is what's happening.
Yeah, I think I would challenge you to maybe like read books or like listen to some things on this, because I even noticed this with friends that have gone through depression, where you're like, oh, they're being weird towards me. So you take it personal and then you stop talking to them. And then in hindsight, you're like, oh, wait, they weren't themselves. It's almost like that, where your friend's not your friend that you knew. She is changed. And you said he's trying to isolate her from her friends. That's like such a manipulation tactic and like a sign of like an abusive relationship. So I think come at it from a place of empathy, put your ego aside and be like, okay, it's not personal. Like my friend's in a bad situation and she can't see clearly. So I'm going to be there for her. I'm not going to like her partner, but I'm going to support her. I think that's the best you could do. I hope that helped. And I hope that kind of gives you a different way of looking at the situation, because I know when you're in it, it's easy to just be like, why is my friend being this way?
Yeah, exactly. But again, like if she can't see it, there's no convincing her until she realizes it herself.
Exactly. Okay. Let's spill the tea, because, there's a lot going on. So let's start with the Megan Fox, Machine Gun Kelly, and Lala Randall Emmett situation. So basically Randall Emmett and Lala from Vanderpump Rules, I think they're married. No, they're engaged. They have a baby. Randall produces films or is like a director, whatever the hell he does. And Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox met on the set of the movie. It's like something in the switchgrass. I forget what it's called. Switchblade, switchgrass, whatever. They met on set, fell madly in love. As you know, they're twin flames, yada, yada. Movie comes out. Megan Fox is on the posters. She's like one of the main characters in the movie. I think Machine Gun Kelly has like a 6-minute scene. Like it's not much. And Lala, Randall's wife, aka from Vanderpump Rules, is posting things promoting the movie and blocking out Megan Fox in every single promo. She's standing in front of her in the poster. She's putting text over Megan Fox's name. Megan Fox didn't go to the premiere because of COVID, which is kind of BS considering they've been bopping around at parties like all month long. It's like now you can't go. And Machine Gun Kelly then tweeted, like, you don't hear me talking about something because I'm not proud of it. It's not good. Yada, 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 yada. My take, extremely unprofessional. First of all, if you think the movie's trash, maybe you didn't do good job at your acting. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I think about it. It's like, you read the script. You signed up for the role. Mm-hmm. You acted in it. You liked it during. They were on Lala and Randall's podcast being buddy-buddy.
Oh.
It's like you fell in love on set. You met your person there.
Right.
Show a little respect for the contract that you're in.
Yeah, exactly. Was there a reason that Lala was like blocking out Megan Fox and everything?
I think because they just completely didn't go to the premiere, and then
because she wasn't like promoting it. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know if there was like some other prior drama between them.
I'm pretty sure that's why, but like, I mean, Lala obviously was being a shady bee, which we love, but I'd be pissed too. I think it's so unprofessional. Like, you signed up for this obligation, you're in it. If you don't support like your acting or the movie, whatever, then you have to go to the premiere. You have to do something. Like, I don't know. It just felt to me like such a slap in the face. At the very least, you met your partner there.
Exactly, yeah. Or at least just put in like the minimal effort of posting a trailer, or like at least making it an effort to seem as if you are promoting it. You don't have to like go out of control promoting it, but yeah, you're right, like, you're in the movie.
But for Machine Gun Kelly to be like, it sucks, is like, oof.
Right, and you're in it. Like, why would you say that?
That's
when you're
what I'm saying. And now it has like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, you're not. Now people are going to watch it and be like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're not going to watch it at all because he already said it sucks.
I also feel like it was Megan Fox's like return to stardom. Like, no one's talked about her in years. She's, because of the Machine Gun Kelly thing, and because she was back to acting in this movie, her star power like rose, and she's all over the place again. And it's like, now you're like spitting on this thing that just propelled you back into the spotlight. Yeah. I find it very weird.
It is strange to not like, what, it's one thing to not promote it. Like, whatever, if you don't like it, I guess. But to outwardly say it's bad or say you don't like it is wild, because you're in the movie.
Wild.
Like, you're profiting off of whatever, like a little bit, even though you're just in it for a little while. Like, there's some profit that you would make from it, so you'd assume you'd want to promote it.
But also, like, you got paid to be there too. Like, it's like, why are you going to make the views tank before it even has, I don't know. I found the whole thing, maybe there's more to the story. Like, maybe Randall Emmett like screwed them over. Maybe they, you know, maybe there's a reason why they're like hey, a producing we hate this thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like, don't make it public though. Yeah. Like, this was a very like public display of like disrespect on both ends, kind of. And I just felt like it was tacky all around.
Yeah, especially too because Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly have been in the news like so much recently. So literally anything they do gets like press, no matter what it is. So they obviously knew what they were doing because like they're so popular.
Yeah, it just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, it is a little strange.
So then Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are, I always say Affleck, like that commercial.
Yeah,
Affleck. Affleck, whatever. They are Instagram official. I still don't care. I'm going to tell you why I don't care. And you know what? If they're happy, I'm happy for them. I think they're both absolutely stunning people. I think what irks me is the fact that we have so many power couples. We have Beyonce and Jay-Z. We have Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. We have Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake. I could keep going. Do we see pictures of them daily? No. Right. And I'll tell you why. Because if you don't want to get papped, you don't have to. Right. You could take private entrances. You could be down like on the DL. Something's rubbing me wrong because Jennifer Lopez and Ben have been public since the first weekend they've been spotted together. And to me, as a former publicist, that screams we're tipping off paparazzi to put these pictures out there, and our teams are involved in this public display of love. Right. So I think it doesn't take a publicist to know that. Yeah. Everyone's in my DM saying the same thing. I think everyone unanimously is just like, this feels forced down our throats. And this is my hypothesis. I don't know if I've said this before, but hear me out. I think A-Rod publicly humiliated J-Lo by potentially cheating with Madison LaCroix from Southern Charm, whatever her last name is. I think that's pretty embarrassing. You're Jennifer Lopez. You're the hottest woman on the planet with the sickest body, and your equally as famous counterpart cheated on you with a reality star. I think J-Lo, I think they were broken up the second that news hit, and they pretended to be together again. Publicity. Photos of them coming out together, you know. So I think they were broken up for a little. So I don't shame her for rushing into a relationship. Like, girls gotta eat. but I think her people were like, how do we get her power back after she just got cheated on? Right. Oh, Ben Affleck. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, maybe her people knew they were talking and they were like, okay, like they've reconnected. Let's get some photos out
this.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing, it seems a little fishy. It seems a little forced. There's this internet rumor going around that they are reenacting different scenarios from the Jenny from the Block music video, because they're seen posing in all of the exact same poses that they did during the music video.
I saw that.
And yeah, it just, you know, someone made a good point too. They were like, oh yeah, now you expect us to believe there's a paparazzi in the middle of the ocean with them,
right,
like zoomed in.
Yeah.
You know, it's very in our faces. Mm-hmm. I honestly think they're both stunning. And again, if they're genuinely happy, whatever, that's how like the press junket works. Like, you promote stuff, you get it out there. No shame, like, in their game. I just think that's why I'm feeling a little less like, oh, I ship. It's a little very staged to me.
Yeah, I know. I like never really thought about it, but you made some good points about like, and I read the theory about the music video stuff, mm-hmm, which the photos are so similar that realistically could be what they're doing. Like, it's just so similar from the old photos to that theory.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do feel like it's a little bit, which the thing is too, it could either go one way of like her jumping into the relationship could be like, oh, like she just got out of one, whatever. Mm. But it could also be the publicist side where, oh, like she just got embarrassed, so she needs to kind of like make a comeback now.
I think it's like, you're going to cheat on me, I'm going to one-up you.
Exactly.
Boom, Ben Affleck.
Right, but like, is it for personal reasons or is it for just like news reasons? You know what I mean?
Because I don't like to be super cynical, I like to believe they reconnected and now they're capitalizing on them reconnecting. Mm-hmm. I don't love to speculate that couples are like contractual or fake
to do it,
like, because I just can't ever imagine doing that. For example, like, everyone thinks that Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, everyone's like, they're fake, blah blah blah. They've been together for 2 years. Like, I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that. Like, I think what really put that to test was back in the day, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes were like the celebrity couple that was married via contract.
Oh, yeah.
And I think like if you do digging into that whole thing, like that's why she couldn't publicly date Jamie Foxx for years, even though they were together for like 7 years, because she was like contractually not allowed because of her like marriage stipulation with Tom Cruise. Like, that one like really blew, like, I don't know. There is smoke and mirrors with celebrity relationships, but I don't like to believe that people are so like, I can't live a life where people are just faking stuff for cameras, because that's a sad thing to believe in.
Yeah, very sad.
So I have to just believe that everyone's in love, because it's like women that are like 22 and marry 80-year-olds.
Right.
Like
you don't love them.
How? I don't get people that could put their own personal feelings aside for money or like financial gain. I genuinely don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Because I can never put my happiness to the side. And sorry, now I'm on a rant. But this is why also, I'm going to tell you guys one of my biggest pet peeves. people that are like, everyone just goes on The Bachelor to be Insta famous. Guys, I get it, but like, there's still a chance to find love too. Like, I don't think that you have to, I don't think that it's always so mutually exclusive. Like, I think it could be both. Like, I applied for The Bachelor when I was 23 before I even really thought I would like do anything for social media, because it wasn't really that big. It was like Chris Sewell's season or Juan Pablo's. Want to know why I applied? Because I saw that there was 25 eligible men, and the people that I'm dating here are schmucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
might as well get a better
but
option.
look at me now. I'm on camera. So had I gone on, people would have been like, she only wanted to do it for fame. Yeah. Honestly, not true. Yeah. Like, really, really not true. I don't think it's always so one way or the other. Would I have gone on, come out, and been hosting on E? Abso-fucking-lutely. I would take every opportunity that came my way.
Yeah, obviously.
But that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No, yeah. And that's even like the guy on Katie's season, Thomas, who said, yeah, I've thought about potentially being the Bachelor. It's like, you don't think every other one of those men has thought about being the Bachelor? He just admitted it. So he looked bad because he looks like he's there for the wrong reasons. Like, they're all there for that reason. But like, 100%. That's not to say people can't actually fall in love.
100%. And I actually didn't mind him saying that.
No, I didn't
He's
either.
the only one telling the truth in the room.
Exactly. Because you know literally all the, like, and again, like you said, maybe you go on there because you want more Instagram followers, but you fall in love in the meantime. Like, maybe he went on there because he knows their potential to be a bachelor, like, by himself, but also he could have found love too.
Or maybe you go on because you really want love, and then you find social media success, and then you take every single opportunity that comes your way because the money's too good to pass up, and you're living your, like, it doesn't, like, I just hate that narrative. Like, I was talking to people the other day, I forget who, honestly, just people that, I was at my friend's, and they were like, I just hate how everyone goes on the show for followers now. I'm like, we need to stop this narrative, because that's every reality show. We all want followers. Mm-hmm. Joe Schmo on the street cares about his ratio on Instagram.
Right, exactly. And I think it's harder now just because social media is so much more prevalent. Like, yeah, back when it was Juan Pablo or Chris Soules or whoever, like, even there was Ali, do you remember Ali Fedotowsky?
Yeah.
She came out, like, she went right on to, like, E! News, but nobody talks about her, like, oh, she only went on to be the Bachelor, like, because it was back in the day. It's only because social media is so prevalent now and everybody makes a career out of it.
That's so true. Because, like, my point being, if I went on in like 2013, 14, I would have 100% pursued entertainment because that's my interest.
Exactly.
So, like, that doesn't mean I wasn't there for. Yeah. Actually, the reason why I ghosted both of my Bachelor interviews when I got a call back was because I didn't think I'd like the person. Yeah. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to be fake. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't really think it's fair to always say that.
Yeah. And it's just like networking in any other job.
Also, like, I will die on this hill. Like, I actually really get peeved when people say that. Yeah. Just because I'm like, who cares? Like, that's the world we live in.
Yeah. Like, they're all there for that. So why are we even talking about? Like, they're obviously all there for Instagram followers, but like.
And everyone, like, people are like, oh, Greg's an actor. Okay. So now you can't work in entertainment and also be on TV. It's like, okay, so only nurses are allowed to go on reality TV shows now.
Right, yeah. People who don't have Instagram or Twitter or anything. Like, that's impossible.
Like, I get it. There's some people that are just like narcissistic and really are only going there to be famous. But like, we figure those people out, and those people actually don't find success after the show.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's...
Like, they don't get opportunities.
Yes. It's like there's equal opportunity for every single person to go around. And like, now I'm going to go on another tangent, but like into even TikTok and stuff, people are so like protective over their niche. It's like, oh no, I'm the girl that does this. I'm the girl that does that. It's like, why don't we all just build each other up and there's room for everyone? I just don't get the competitiveness sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Just like literally do whatever you want and then let other people do. Yeah, like it's, I don't know. I'm totally on your side with that.
All right, guys. That's today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. I will have a fall merch drop coming in the next few months. Also, I want to tell you guys that we do have a Tea Tribe Facebook group, so join us there where we talk about celeb tea, female issues like dating, stuff like that. It's a fun little community. And make sure if you're new here and you liked what you heard to subscribe, rate, review. I will be back next Tuesday. Thanks, guys.